Oh, beautiful, beautiful night, my beloveds. Welcome to this workshop for Divine Inner Union Template Guidance in support for all of the beautiful light beings, high frequency beings with open hearts that are ready to receive this message. And well, it's gonna be I'm gonna start right on time. I usually wait 10 to 15 minutes in my meditation circles, but that's because they're holding space for humanity and for, like newbies, yes. But this is like a more advanced workshop. So therefore, I'm gonna start right at the on time. Okay. No, it's everything so quiet today. Yeah, I don't know how to say this, but today's what in our society is celebrated as Saint Valentine's Day. Unfortunately, I saw a lot of people with sad faces today, oh, and, and glassy eyes, and yeah, it kind of touched me, but I gotta be honest with you, beloveds. I'm at a point where it's kind of hard for me to get sad. I do sometimes, but I'm mostly flowing with my uh inner peace. And I guess I learned to protect that peace. hmm And yeah, well, the reason I'm sharing this is because hopefully it will inspire you to protect your own peace and don't let little things like a Valentine's Day. Yeah, I know the energies from yesterday were a little bit harsh. Um, but that's why we have to cultivate a lot of self-love towards ourselves. And well, everything's getting so quiet. And let's see what yeah, so I'm just gonna record this. I'm gonna record this workshop. If somebody shows up, good. If not, we'll just keep going. And because that's how I know it's a little bit hard to comprehend um why I'm being guided to create this way, but it's gonna make more sense as we progress. And yeah. So today is Valentine's Day, and I thought it was a good opportunity to it's how do I make it make sense? Let's see. So in the past, in sacred temples, in sacred schools, sacred oracle schools, we always have three phases. And on the first phase, we always have a public phase, where we share wisdom with a collective of humanity that has an open heart to receive. And this information we share freely, and we like with a free spirit. But that information is mostly like an introduction to prepare their mind and their heart and their bodies to receive like a more profound phase. So when they're ready on the second phase, they get introduced, like you could say it, they get accepted into the school, and then or the temple, and then they will start their training. hmm And then in the training, we cultivated on the disciplines for our mind, our hearts, and our bodies, like in like real discipline, not like today. That's why I tell you, beloveds, we've done this before. We've done this before. So many lifetimes, so many temples, so many civilizations, so many planets. Yeah. And so the last part that will be like the culmination or our self-mastery, which is what several or of us are going through right now. Isis is one of those persons that's going through, or beings. I'll just call myself a being that's going through this last phase. So in every lifetime, we'll acquire our like public knowledge somehow, and then we'll run into the second phase of discipline and cultivation, and then finally self-mastering. And self-mastery has that's like the crazy part, right? Because it's multi-dimensional and we're doing all this work in so many dimensions and so many levels, and then at the same time we're sharing with humanity. And the reason we do that is because as we grow, our frequency grows, and if we don't record our progress, um, the our frequency will keep rising, and it will be hard to come back into that frequency where we were meeting humanity at that point. That's why we're always guided to, I'm gonna keep repeating it until I see those new books coming out. um, we need to write our books, like literally, or yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a recipe book or a poem book or a coloring book like Isis did, but we need to move into creating those books. It's very, very it's kind of hard to explain it. You have to actually do it, but it has an energetic upgrade that it's only understood once we create our book. Or if we have another project in mind, like an oracle deck, or I don't know, whatever you have in mind, once you do it, you're going to understand it because you're going to see the energetic changes that happen within you after creating whatever is that needs to be created. But usually we're asked to create a book of some sort, and they have asked me if you could just pay for somebody to write your book. Well, I wouldn't say no. If you're being called to experiment doing that, you could do it. But in my case, because I am a magical illustrator, literally, I had to create my own book. Yes. Um, and write the books. I have currently Isis has 4 books. She's writing 4 books right now. She's created another coloring book and an oracle deck. When is this going to come out? I have no idea because the way these books come in and this art, it doesn't come in the way like in a linear manner. It is like a multi-dimensional, but it could happen overnight. It could happen like it's literally in one day, or it could take me years. It depends on my higher selves and the alignment that we need for humanity's highest good and joy. Which brings me back to the workshop. So we always have these 3 phases, and then what the 4th phase is just like, damn, we did it, okay? And then we could just spread and spread and just keep expanding. But it's usually the 3 first phases. We have a public phase where we're very aware and discreet of what we share, understanding that the public might not be prepared yet to receive us. And then we have the preparation phase where their hearts are open to receiving, and we do our best to assist them. And then finally, um, they could just start practicing on their own, whatever is they learn from us. And so, um, and there's another part that's coming in, which is the importance of titles and why we had, back in the days we had titles. Like, I know nowadays, spirituality like attacks titles, um, because it's considered egotistic. But the reason titles were important is because they help humanity understand, what it is they're dealing with. And back then, we didn't it had nothing to do with egocentric ideas uh, or things like that. It was mostly to communicate, right? But it's also a way of manifesting frequencies on Earth. Um, so as Isis begin her message, she will introduce herself. I am an magical illustrator. I'm a sacred oracle. I am a galactic, intergalactic light weaver. But as I was doing that, I could feel the frequency run through my body, and I could feel the triggers on the collective consciousness for receiving that frequency. And I had to heal a lot of triggers because if they're in the collective, that means they're inside me. So as I was, every single video that I will mention that part, a new fear will come out, and I will have to deal with that trigger and heal it. And then it would it was kind of like trying to stop me from my message, and I just kept going. But titles are important, and the thing is, the bad interpretation of titles is that we're thinking it's a title, and we're assuming it's this one person. For example, Isis is a magic illustrator. Let's stay with the simple one, or a sacred oracle. But what does that mean? That means it's a frequency, it's an intelligence, it's a capsule of information that that person is holding. So that's what it means. And so when we want to anchor frequencies into the grids with titles, it's not about saying, "Oh, I'm a channeler," or "I'm a high frequency light worker," or whatever. It's more about understanding what knowledge we are holding. Mhm. And so we had in many lifetimes we had many different titles. And for example, Merlin, um, there is a man that a teacher that was named Merlin, okay? But you could look at it from that perspective and call on its conscious, but you could also look at it as a package of information that's within ourselves, like inside us. For example, I have Isis as her own inner Merlin. Like I have my own. Yes, I have my own. I am a Merlin. Isis is a Merlin. So we all have a Merlin inside of us, a capsule of information, a magician that's ready to translate magic from that perspective. And it's inside ourselves. Mhm. And so we can call upon our own inner Merlin to get activated and work with it for a period of time, and until that wisdom inside of us starts taking action on our mental, emotional, and physical body. And the same goes for what another part that's coming in is Yeshua and the 12 disciples. So this is gonna break a lot of myths. So we do have the 12 disciples, and we do have Papa Yeshua, Papa Yeshua, but then we also have um our own inner Yeshua or inner Christ, right? And then we all also have our own inner disciples within us. So maybe I'll start. I'm still collecting the data needed to give more information on each disciple, but the one that I have worked with a lot is Felipe. I don't know, he was a disciple or a saint, but that's also a part of us, and it has a lot of wisdom with our heart chakra, and it holds the wisdom for the how to levitate. Yeah, and so a lot of these disciples had a power. They have their own book and they have their own power, right? And the physical. But that knowledge, it's incrustated in the collective, which means we all have access to that knowledge or that capsule of knowledge, which is that being left, and it's within us. That means I could call upon any disciple, and yes, their conscience will arrive, but I could also call on that disciple within me, and then activate that knowledge or that capsule of knowledge within me, and it becomes a part of me, and then I could um, integrate it, right? We could do this with anything, right? So we use our discernment to connect with wisdom that connects us to our highest timeline and ascension, right? So, yeah, another good example would be to understand that Jesus Christ was also an oracle. And, oracles were misunderstood a lot of the times because it's not understood that our lives are like a story that was pre-designed, and that we're basically playing a role. But that role is creating conscious for the collective. And so Papa Yeshua, his life was like yeah, like a book that it was pre-written, and it was meant to be exactly like that it was. And so Judas, for example, was only playing his role. And it's kind of hard to understand, but from a lower perspective, but from a higher perspective, it was designed exactly that way so that it could create a conscious and humanity to understand that you just don't do certain things, right? But he played a very difficult role. And maybe once I start getting into the disciples, I'll start sharing information on Judah. From my perspective, he was one of the highest. His book has like a lot of wisdom. Like there's other books that have been written with his wisdom, and they're deep. Um, yeah, but there's this one book. I'm gonna look for it for whoever wants to go deep on understanding that that's our life too. It was like a book written so that we can awaken, like many other sacred books. So we have to start understanding that these sacred books, what they're holding as knowledge, that's inside of us. It's a person, yes, there was a person like Judah, but it's a capsule information of knowledge of wisdom that's inside of us. Okay. And from this book, what I remember the most is just the fact that when he found Papa Yeshua, he was like, he saw him in this his eyes, and he was like, "Oh my God, I love you. I found you. Like you're my teacher." Like I don't remember the title right now, but I'm gonna look for it. It's something about a serpent. And he just yeah, they saw each other, and he was like, "What? I love you." Like they recognized each other. It was because it's the soul. It's the soul. That's why a lot of us we see our eyes and we're like, "Oh my God, I found one of me." Yeah. So it's supposed to get lighter for us. beloveds, not harder. It's supposed to get lighter. And so that brings me back to Valentine, right? So this saint, so I found a little, I did a little bit of research on Wikipedia and all that good stuff. And what I found was like, the usual, he was a saint from the Roman Catholic Church, and he was a priest, and but what caught my attention was like he wasn't the only Saint Valentine's. Like the only so they're only mentioning the last Valentine's, but they say it was three Valentines. There was more, three more priests that were Valentines. So what I grab because of the knowledge that I hold, that I understand what titles are. It's like, oh, that means Valentine's was a title. Like Valentine was a title. And it's gonna make more sense as I go forward. So Valentine was a title given to certain priests that reach certain rank and certain with certain knowledge exactly. So the other part that I found was that uh well, I had the public part, okay? The public part says that this emperor was sending everybody to war, and but the young men that were married were not sent to war to keep their lineages or things like that. So what this priest would do will marry them in secret, so that they wouldn't get sent to war, supposedly. That's the public part. But there's more to that. See, the thing is, the real reason is not that he was marrying people in secret for war. Okay, it goes deeper than that. What happens is that sacred sexuality, sacred alchemy, um, yeah, the beloved he has always been kept not secret but protected. Okay, for the same reason that we're seeing right now. If this wisdom is, if the person is not prepared to receive it, it could hurt them instead of damaging them. So it's not that we keep it for them, it's like we give them the information as they are able to receive. If they're ready, they're gonna look for the information. Believe me, they won't stop, because that's how the soul works. It's the soul's the one who's doing the work. So Valentine's was a title, and the number three, we all know that the number three, so it was one of the three priests that held this title, was the last one was the one that's being remembered. And the reason he was marrying people in secret, it has nothing to do with the war and things like that. Well, he was teaching sacred sexuality, sacred alchemy to this yes, I knew this already, but I still had to do a little bit of research to refresh my mind. So Saint Valentine's was teaching sacred alchemy. Uh-huh. Yes, and he was guiding these young couples into, the sacred marriage. And what is the sacred marriage? And this is where it gets really difficult. Um, the problem with sacred marriage is that in the past, because of all the spiritual war and all that, um, many times in the past, our beloved, our twin flame, or will be in the astral, and we will just bring it into one body. So we will come only with one body, and we will have our beloved on our soul chakra, and we will just bring it into one body. So there wasn't like a lot of times that we were both bodies doing the work on the physical. So this is what makes this beautiful moment so wonderful, that we're at this point in humanity and ascended Mother Gaia that we're able to do this in two bodies. It's sacred. So that's where it makes it difficult because we didn't have a lot of information into how to deal with the two bodies. Um, but the way it usually goes is one of the bodies will go first, and that body has to. The problem is we have to focus on our inner alchemy, and that takes a lot of collapsing of timelines and collapsing of um, distortions from our system. And but the problem is because I'll call it, well, it's not a problem, but it's a reality that because it's one single soul in two bodies, the two souls, the soul is trying, like it's pulling the two bodies, and the mind and the mind and the human mind and the emotions is like, what's going on, right? Because we don't understand what's happening. The only one that really understands is the soul. And we kind of understand like the physical, emotional, and mental changes that are happening to us, but really it's happening to us. We're just kind of like trying to cooperate, cooperate with the changes of that are happening within us. So it's the soul that's pulling us together, and that creates a lot of changes in the reality, which seem like a lot of pain, but it's actually a blessing for humanity. It's a gift for humanity too, because those ripples are creating upgrades for humanity's conscious. So so San Valentine's was a title, and it's a capsule of information that we could connect to and we could activate within us. And I guess he was marrying people, but we could activate that wisdom to, like our own inner marriage, because we always focus on ourselves. That does not mean we're ignoring our twin, or things like that, or that we don't love our twin. And so they're asking me, like, how do you know your twin loves you? Oh my God, of course your twin loves you. It's you. The more you love yourself, the more your twin loves you. It's impossible for your twin not to love you. It's you. It's you. And that's kind of like the what's coming in, the importance of understanding that is one single, what do you call it? Energetic system. It's one single and energetic system, one single template. So this is both good and bad, because from the distortions, it's like the more conscious you become, you're like, oh my God, like I was hurting my twin all along, like with my travesuras. How do you say that? Like my little, how do you say travesuras? Um, like just hurting ourselves, or we're hurting our twin too. And that hurts. You're like, oh my God, because it's just painful to come to this realization. And then, but then from the other part, it's like, it's also beautiful, because it's like, oh, that means the more I take care of myself. It's so funny. Give me a second. I'm still a little bit sick. So the more you love yourselves and you take care of yourselves and you nourish yourselves, the more your twin is gonna receive those upgrades too. But the tricky part is you cannot be focusing on the twin. You have to be focusing on yourself. And that breaks the illusion, or the illusion, the spell. Because it just makes you understand that we're all one. Like we're all one. Mhm. It's both like it's beautiful if you're connected to your heart and a higher perspective of the mind. But if you're connected to um the let's the parts that are still wounded, it becomes really painful. So I guess the homework will be to be focusing on our highest timeline in our hearts, and then this will start giving solutions, and to be very patient with ourselves and be very patient um with our twin. And so another question that we're asking me, like, how do you like um how do you know what how your twin feels about you? I'm like, well, well, it's you. How do you feel? Your twin feels exactly what you feel. It doesn't mean like like you're laughing and they're laughing or like that. No, but it's you. It's you. And then the more integration is done, the more merging is done, the more it becomes very obvious that you're one. So you as we progress, as I'm just gonna start saying we, beloveds, it just makes it easier for me. As we all progress, we're gonna start understanding that being in our center is actually easier than, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, it's peaceful here. I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just gonna stay here and then wait. Yeah, stay in the peace, stay in the joy, stay in the bliss as much as possible, and like focus more on um creating the new, and just moving away from the pain. Yes, there's a lot of human things that we have to deal with. There's no way out. But that's basically it. So that's like the main questions that they everybody always wants to know. Does my twin love me back? Well, do you love yourself? Yes, then your twin loves you. Actually, they can't stop loving you. Like, you can't stop, just like you cannot stop loving them, they cannot stop loving you. It's way more beyond that. It's more about, mm, it's a knowing. It's more about you knowing than, yeah, and that's within. Understand, like going within and knowing, like, oh, this is me. Oh, that means if I'm okay, my twin's gonna be okay. And yes, usually one twin goes first and then the other one gets the upgrades because it's one energetic system. Okay, it's one energetic system. So with that quantum entanglement thingy, wabbit, yeah, maybe I'll get into the scientific part in the future, but it's basically you in another body. It's like there, it's hard for the mind to understand, but if you get out of your mind, get into your heart and your body, and then you just feel like, how do I feel today? I'm sad. Okay, what do I do to get, what tools do I have to get out of the lower frequency? I could go for a walk, I could eat something delicious, create a new project, a new painting, a new sewing something new, or whatever. So that's the biggest distraction is for our divine union, our original blueprint template to completely heal. Our biggest distraction, it's our twin. And everybody's always focusing on like trying to attract the twin, and that's the problem. It becomes a distraction because you're not working on yourselves. And then when it comes to working on ourselves, it gets really easy because the more you progress, you're like, oh my God, they should have taught this to me since and I wasn't, I don't know, preschool or whatever. But it's just literally taking care of ourselves, like literally, like, sleeping good, buying pretty clothes, hygiene, eating healthy, going for having some type of exercise routine. Healthy habits like being discernful about what we're watching, what we're consuming, and not not saying like all movies are bad, but like which movies are we consuming, which songs, which and you know we're nobody's perfect. We're all moving one step at a time on the staircase. So we don't torture ourselves, we don't hurt ourselves, we don't judge ourselves, we don't shame ourselves. Okay, Isis is a little tough, and she has a lot of self-discipline, but I understand that we are not all on the same yeah, it's I was kind of pushed into that position. Isis was pushed, like she didn't have no choice. Okay, the process my soul chose for this human body was very painful, and uh, no choice but to do what I had to do. But the point was not for me to make others go through the same thing as I'm trying to prevent so much pain for others. I cannot stop they have to still live their process, but at least they'll have more information and more tools. So their process will be a little bit softer and more loving, yes, and more peaceful, yes. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying nothing new in this workshop, really. um, but I'll make like a summary. So there's three phases in which information of divine union is shared. Uh-huh. And you could add the fourth one, which would be like how to make a living out of it, put it like that. But basically, it's the public phase, the preparation phase, and the actual consummation phase, and then there's how to live with this, how to live with this, and that takes time. And then we're going to back into so that the reason I'm explaining titles and this, I'm just taking advantage that it's some Valentine's Day today, so that in the future, if you want to consume information for alchemical processes or divine union, you from sacred books, you could have like a little foundation and understand that yes, certain people did exist, like Papa Yeshua or Papa Buddha, but that's also their lives are representation, a character that they were playing, but that character, that information holds a capsule of wisdom that is you have access to from the Akashic records and within yourselves, like literally. So yeah, we have to start understanding that it's all within us, it's all within us. And that's how we break the spell, that's how we break the illusion. So that's why I'm bringing titles up, so that we could start breaking with this, because we're being called into unity consciousness, we're being called into understanding that it does, like you could study Kabbalah, for example, you could study the Egyptian wisdom, you could study Mayan wisdom, you can, okay, whatever, wherever you were put in this world, you're at the right place, okay? But those sacred books are wisdom from that specific being, light being, but that's also within yourself. And you could activate that wisdom within you if it's in alignment with your highest, with your soul's highest good, and if you have an open heart. Okay. So Isis, for example, she worked a lot with Felipe from her heart chakra. Isis has a lot of work on her heart chakra. She worked a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Like everything she could find on the heart chakra, she will work. Why? I have no idea. I have no idea. There's only one book that I wasn't able to read because every time I will get into it, I will get stopped. And that's because they told me it wasn't time. It wasn't time. They kept telling me it wasn't time. Now I understand why. But it's one book from this teacher, this theosophic teacher, Elena Petronila Blavatsky, and it's called The Book That Kills Death. And I'm pretty sure that when I read it, I'm gonna be like, I knew all of this already. I'm pretty sure. And that's just how my soul works. I think the ones that are following my work are getting an understanding of how my soul teaches. It's a little bit different than what we're used to, but that's the way my Gnostic teachers yeah guided me to teach from experience, yes. And Papa Babaji taught me that from love, loving experience, yes. So we teach from our own experience, but from the higher perspective possible, so that we could have compassion for those that are learning and patience for them. Hmm. And okay, so we got over the titles, and then back to basics. Okay, so the last part of this workshop is obviously our sacred sexuality. So in the public phase, we mostly um, introduce, for example, spiritual, you know, like like dream work and and things like that. You know, things that are easy to digest, and then also like the importance of knowing ourselves and understanding our minds and our spirit and things like that, and healthy living, healthy eating, and things like that. But on the preparation phase, we go a little bit deeper into like more discipline, like actual auto observation, actual observing our minds, actually journaling. We should be like the basics, but actual journaling and things like that. And the auto discipline. What do I mean with auto discipline is that we share the tools, but it has to be the person that's receiving the information's will that takes it into action. So Isis is very practical, and she has a lot of discipline. But like I mentioned before, I had no choice. I had no choice, and I am a very experienced soul. That's why I'm here. That's why a lot of us are here. I'm reflecting to you what you are. That's why a lot of us are here, because we have the experience. We've done this before. I'm kind of just like a reminder, like remember? Yes, and a lot of you are reminding to a reminder to me. I see you, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember now. Okay, so so on the second phase, we going through discipline and preparation and deep meditations and things like that. And then on the third phase, we introduce alchemy, which is, the yeah, there's certain teachers that are only focused on the sacred alchemy, and that's good because there's souls that are more advanced. They're gonna wake up and they need that information right away. Yeah, I'm just kind of going over the phases of what I have from my own inner wisdom and my own experience seen that we go through. And then so somebody once told me, and a lot of people have told me, and I'm pretty sure you heard it too, that sex cells, that's how they call it, and that everything rotates around sex. And when people used to say this, I used to get really upset and I used to get mad, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't know, I just always seem sexuality is something very sacred. Um, But from a higher perspective, now I understand, like, yeah, it's true. It's so sad that the most sacred thing that we have, which is our soul, it's seen that way, but it's true. It's true. And so how do we focus what's being attacked the most? How do we protect it? And to real how do we realigning? That's why we have teachers teaching alchemy openly and on public, and they're prepared for that. Those souls are prepared for that. Isis has a different way of working, and it's okay. And that's because Isis has to work with divine vehicles, female vehicles, like and the female vehicle is the masculine vehicle is very delicate too, but the female vehicle, it's very, very delicate. You can just go in there and move things. So you have to you have to have the patience, the guidance for these beautiful souls, so that they understand the correct flow of our energy, life energy. And um, yes, I know I use like more direct words than my crew, but that's because I need to make clear. There was a lot of confusion into. I mean, I'm not gonna say it, but we all talked about it before. When you're there, because in the past we use a lot of how do you call them? Um, how do you call them? We use a lot of symbolism to symbolize sexual alchemy. And the reason we did that was to protect this beautiful sacred science. Okay. Now it's more open, but we still try to, keep it discreet. But the reason Isis needs to talk like this is because she needs to like disentangle all the confusion. Okay. Okay. So the correct flow of our chakras, the correct flow of our sacred energy. Okay, um it's what's gonna um integrate our divine union. Period. And I'm just gonna say like that. Period. If your heart is not ready to receive sacred sexuality, it's okay. Maybe your soul still has something to learn. But if you are a soul with desiring divine union, divine ascension, or your sacred marriage, that's the only way, period. And I'm just saying it like that so that it kind of lands, and it's like either we move towards the correct flow of an energies bodies, or we don't. And it's okay. Whatever, there's no judgment. If we're still confused, if we still want to investigate, or we need to dissolve fears, it's okay. There's a lot of information that will assist you. And when you're ready, that will be the correct time. But once you are ready, which if you made it to this workshop, you're probably just like, what do I have to do, right? Then you first, well, yeah, now you know if that's the only way. Now we just need the correct teachings. Mm-hmm. Yes. In my teachings, I have 3 courses available for divine feminines. Um, I don't teach sacred sexuality to the masculine, not because I don't understand it, but because my body is not, I have a female body, and that's what I understand, and that's what I could guide. I don't have a masculine body, so maybe somebody would, a masculine body could, you know, help the, yeah, that has nothing to do with, um, that is just the bodies, the body, the female body works different than the masculine body, okay? Mm-hmm. And I do have these courses in Spanish, but if um, more of you are interested, I would love to create them in English. I'll see as we progress. I'll see what but for now I have healing sessions, one-on-ones. You could ask me all the questions that you may have. And the so if you have you already have your twin and you want you connect in a session, it could be one session for both of you, no problem. Or if you're still in separation, or you just need to understand what's going on your own, and that could work too. Okay, I work mostly with divine feminines, but for some reason, when I started my messages, I started directing myself to divine feminine, and it turns out like almost like 60-70% of my audience was masculine. And that's why my message started changing, because I understood like, wait a minute, it's the masculine, then it's a little bit of support. And that's why it got kind of hard for me, because I have a female body and I was trying to, like disentangle, because the need, the support that was needed in the masculine. And that gets yeah, misinterpret. Isis is here. Uh-huh. So Isis was doing all this multidimensional work. Like, she's doing her own inner alchemy, working on her own inner union and her own divine union, and at the same time, all this masculines need support, and divine feminines too. And but it was mostly divine masculine that was needing support. It was, I'm not gonna lie, 60-70% of my audience was masculine. And there was a lot of things that needed to get disentangled, and it's okay. It's okay. So let me go over this workshop, but backwards. Okay. Um, this is if you're at this point in this type of workshop, it's because you're an soul working on your ascension. You're a high level frequency being. Okay. Okay. Is the correct flow of energy. It's what we have to work on. When Mama Kundalini wakes up, she's usually the one that guides us. And I have seen some of my crew where they were guided into just basically not doing nothing, which is okay, because Mama Kundalini is the one doing the clearings. But in my case, Mama Kundalini, oh my God, I don't know what she did to me, but she made me do a whole lot of work, and it was different. But it's okay, because that's my contracts. That's what my soul signed up for. So we didn't all sign up for the same process. And so if Mama Kundalini wakes up, um, she's the one who's gonna guide you. And that's where we're guided into following our own intuition, which is the other course that I might I might translate. I already have it finished in Spanish, but I might translate it to English if it's needed. Um, so let's say Mama Kundalini is not awake yet, and you want to assist Mama Kundalini in waking up and doing her process. Then we start exploring conscious sexuality and the correct flow of our energetic system and activation of our template, which I could assist you with. That's what I'm here for. And that will be, we're going backwards, okay? We're going backwards. So that's one thing, the correct flow of our sacred energy. And that's like, that's a lot, okay? That's a lot because we have to go through mental training, emotional training, and physical training, which is easier now because we have downloads and upgrades and makes it easy. We just receive the information. We're just remembering, like, ah, yeah, I remember. We integrated and that's it. It ISIS took like I don't know, 13, 14 years to activate and all that good stuff. But it doesn't have to take that much. It could take somebody probably like 3 to 5 years to finish the same process. And I'm pretty sure that as we move forward, it's gonna take even less. But the yeah, which leads me to another part, which has been coming up a lot. So basically, I don't know how to say this, but when I started receiving the upgrades, what I understood from my inner union, yes, what I understood is like basically we have, if you could put it in words like in a simple form, like basically we have to become gentlemen and ladies. Um, what I mean by that is, for some reason, the organic template, the way it works, it's when we do something in alignment, like it has value, we get an upgrade, like like our like yeah, like an upgrade. And when we do something that's not in alignment, I will I could feel my energy go like it's almost like if you could put it like in a battery, like it will drain you, and then if you do something that's in alignment, it will like it will fill you up. And the more filled up we get, the more we attract everything, like our abundance, our beloved, our health improves drastically. And mhm. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And yeah, at the beginning it felt like I was being like, I don't know how to say it, but like I was being forced or something like that. But then I noticed that that was my human mind, my human soul, part of the soul that was having a hard time, releasing the attachments. And as the more I started focusing on releasing the attachments, I just started focusing on what was, because when that upgrade started coming in, they feel like whoever has gone through a twin flame activation, the love that you feel is like, wow, it's beautiful. The upgrades feel the same. They feel fluffy, they feel heart opening, they feel loving. So yeah, we want more of that, right? We want more of that. And so it started getting easier for me. Like, oh, all I have to do is do this, like literally what I makes me happy. Oh, this is easy. It gets easier and easier, yes. It gets easier. Like, but yeah, if you could put it in a funny way, it's like we basically have to be good girls and good boys. I don't know. I know it sounds quirky and it sounds like, no, I don't want to do that, because we are rebels. That's why that's why we're here, because we're rebels, we're warriors, exactly. So yeah, I mean, they tell you gotta be a good girl, good. Don't tell me, don't tell me that. I'm a rebel. I'm not gonna do it. Well, basically, yeah, we get paid to create an alignment with source. If you want to put it in like in simple phrases. So yeah, one the correct flow of our energetic system. That's a whole area to study right there. And then, start aligning our actions, our thoughts, emotions, and our actions. What does that mean? Um, Correct way of thinking or feeling, and our actions like eating healthy, yes, going to a gym, sleeping, good sleeping habits. There's like sleeping yoga if you want to get into that. So we have a whole lot of areas we could study. And then when it comes into knowledge, what's coming in today with Valentine's Day is this importance to understand that sacred books. And the reason this is coming in because we're all being called into this unity consciousness. So it helps to understand that each book, each sacred book, for example, Bhagavad Gita, or for example, I have this one from one of our sisters, one of the rose codes. Mariah Nurislamova. Yeah. So hard. I have more. Every time I find one of our crew, one of our beautiful um beloved's books, I try to yeah, they're jewels. Like this is the kind of library you want. Like it's cool like to have the sacred books. Okay, it's cool. I have those two. I have a Bhagavad Gita, I have a Bible, but it's so cool to find other light beings that are on the field working, and they have their books, and like you want to have those books, right? Yeah, you oh God. Yeah, my book. My color, my magical color book. Okay, don't forget, magical. They're magical, they're alive. But the true magical book, who's the true magic book? We are the magical book. Like I keep reminding everyone, everybody's waiting for the pyramids to find these beautiful treasures and these jades and this all these wonderful crystals. That's good. But we are those magical items. We're the grimoire. We are the grimoire. Okay, we're alive, and everything that we create becomes alive. Okay, and so that I think that's the other part. So yes, so this sacred books doesn't matter if you're getting from something like recent like this one, it's so beautiful, or you get something ancient like or not so ancient like the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita. They hold wisdom, but that wisdom, if you find a character, one of those sacred texts, that character's within you too. That wisdom is within you too. I know it's kind of like I think Dolores Cannon used to call it combobulated because that is how it feels, you know. You have to be very patient. So let me just finish up. So sacred sexuality, that's a whole area to explore, okay? And then self-care, self-love, okay? And then sacred knowledge to assist us. Yeah. And the way you're gonna find sacred knowledge is, like the public phase, and then you're gonna find like preparation phase, and then like culmination, and then where it becomes a part of like just the way you live. What now they call it a soul business, but it doesn't have to be a business, you know. It doesn't have to be a business necessarily. And yeah, I think that's where we're gonna end up today. Oh, and then one last time, one more thing that I wanted to bring up. So this Valentine's, the one day they celebrate, what they say about is like he fell in love with, like he was in jail for teaching sacred alchemy. that what they say for marrying the for so they wouldn't go to war. But now we know, right? Now we know it was because he was teaching sacred alchemy. So he fell in love with the daughter of the jailman or whatever. And it says that he healed her from blindness. Okay. And that's where things get really deep because yes, it means that he healed her from blindness, but from another multi, like if you read it in multidimensional, is he awakened her exactly. And which one is right? Both of them are right. Which timeline are you reading it from? Both of them are right. And that's where it gets tricky when we're trying to teach how to take care of your bodies and you're teaching like fasting and like for us like fasting has different understandings, but for humanity fasting means fasting, drinking water exactly. And so we have to decide like what where who are we teaching to. Like Isis is teaching a whole lot of levels, she has no choice. She was put in the like but yeah, it's gonna get easier and easier. It's supposed to be easier and easier. Okay. Honestly, if they would have told me about self-love and self-care since the beginning, yeah, there's a whole lot of things I would have not have gone through, but I guess I could also say I wouldn't change a thing, not even one little dot of what I went through, because all the knowledge that I have been blessed with, and I'm just grateful. I'm like I don't even understand how I'm able to hold all this wisdom within me. I don't even know. Even when I'm speaking and creating these workshops like so naturally, it's like, whoa, how do I do that? But it wasn't me 3 years ago, right? So yes, I think that's it for today's workshop. See, it is just wisdom is uh it's the key that's gonna unite all of us. We're already united. Oh my God, we're worldwide. ISIS is worldwide. Thank you all for listening. You are all so beautiful. Thank you for, yeah, that scene from that book from Judas coming back. Like I saw my teacher. I saw like he saw Joshua and he saw his eyes and he's like, oh, I know, that's my teacher. And he's like, I found you. And automatically he loved them. He played the biggest, the most terrifying role anybody could ever play, being a Judah, whatever. Yeah, like he's a as high level, high level. Mm, yeah. So we forgive, okay? It's time to let go. We move on. We're here to create the new. We're here to create something beautiful. It's like uh, we had we all had our Judah, and I'm pretty sure our Judah had their Judah. That's just how the story was written. But now it doesn't have to be like that anymore, okay? We learn our lessons, we can move on into something new. And what best time than now, right? With all these beautiful frequencies, are allowing these new timelines to finally, and oi, finally, yes. So thank you one more time for listening, for yes, I'm recording this workshop, and I'll leave it on the website for if I'm gonna create like a space in English if anybody wants to download it and go over it and take notes or whatever. And thank you for loving yourselves. And I know it hasn't been easy, but thank you for making it all the way up here. And see you soon. I love you all so, so much. Good night.